Alright everybody, what's going on? This is Trey, aka CanTreGame, and welcome back to another video. What today's video is going to be is me going over a couple things that I've noticed people struggle with when it comes to this game. A lot of people are stuck in lower ranks. I see a lot of posts on Reddit about how people struggle with this and struggle with that. They can't improve their rank, they need help, they just don't know how to improve. And a lot of times people have good intentions to give you advice on what's needed to improve. However, a lot of the advice that most people give, it's not advice needed to necessarily survive rank, which this guide particularly is going to be. I'm going to show you everything that you need to survive ranked mode specifically, so not tournament, not casual, just rank mode specifically. We're going to go over each rank, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you can expect in each rank up to S, because that's where I am. S5, Jenny player, win rate 65%, 13 win streak is my best. The record is pretty good, as you can see. And everybody plays very different in every rank. Unranked will play different from rookie ranks. Rookie ranks will play different from C ranks. B ranks will play different from C ranks. A's will play different from B's. S's will play drastically different from across the board, and so on. It just gets tougher and tougher. Everybody has a different play style. People start playing more polished, and a lot of stuff you can expect. So I have 18 things that we're gonna go over, 18 tips that you can use to improve, and we're gonna go over each show together. And I'm gonna go in very big detail, because these are the biggest, all 18 of these things are the biggest things that I see people struggling with and not doing. So with that out of the way, let's head to training mode and let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're gonna go over in lesson number 1, that is going to be learn to safe jump. This is the first thing I learned when I got into this game. So usually the rule in fighting games is don't jump. Jumping's bad. This game is quite literally the opposite. Jumping is quite literally busted in this game. It is a very strong tool, which is why there are very strong tools to deal with it, which we'll get into later on. However, the reason I think you need to learn how to safe jump is because if you are a player specifically who's in rookie rank, unranked, C rank, even B ranked, even A ranked, it works in S rank, it starts getting a little less effective in S rank. It's still good, but it's just not gonna fully carry you. But it's definitely gonna get you to B rank. If you at least learn this, definitely get you to B rank. So what a safe jump is essentially is it's a setup where your character performs a jump, but at the end of the jump, say someone would wake up DP or do a wake up ult. What's going to happen is you're basically going to land on the ground and be able to block before the attack hits you. Now this is very important, especially in the low ranks, because what everybody does in C ranks and below, and even B ranks, everybody wake up DP. They spam it. They spam ults. They religiously do it in the lower ranks. In the higher rank, they play a little more reserved. They do a lot more advanced tech, which we'll get into. But this is why I tell everybody the biggest thing, whenever I get asked on my videos, how am I doing it, why is my record so good, how to hold a streak, like what's my secret, what's my trick gameplay. Lower ranks, safe jump. I'm gonna show you a couple safe jumps with Jenny. See there, I wasn't able to get hit because I did a safe jump. I wasn't able to get hit because I hit the ground before the ult came out. I'll show you a couple more safe jumps that she had. Just give it a bit of an example.
Uh-oh, now I gotta set final good night! Uh-oh, I'm so gonna set final good night!
SPG!
So as you can see, safe jumps are very strong tools, and it's not just something that Jenny can do. Every character has access to a safe jump. You just need to laugh the character, go on YouTube. There's going to be plenty of videos of safe jumps with your character specifically that you can find. Jenny just happens to have a bajillion of these safe jumps. She's quite literally like the safe jump god. She has way too many safe jumps for me to show in the video. I just gave you an example of how a safe jump would look So please, this is the #1 rule, because this safe jumps will carry you so far in the game. You could absolutely be garbage at this game, and as long as you know how to safe jump, you will be good. You will get carried so far because so many people DP and do ults that you're basically guaranteed to get a punish as long as you do safe jumps. In the lower ranks, especially in my experience when I was in the rookies and C ranks and even B ranks, every hard knockdown I got, I was just safe jumping, and because people like to press buttons, I was able to hit them with the safe jump, because another thing with safe jumps is you're generally plus at the end of most of your safe jumps. So when you complete the animation and you do an attack, if they press, you'll get a counter hit. But then if they do a DP or if they do an ult, you're able to block it. It's quite strong. It got me all the way to B rank. So please study that with your character, learn how to do that. It'll take you very far in this game, and it'll even serve you well in the higher ranks. All right, now step 2 is a big one. This is another one of the biggest issues I see people struggling with. And this is learn to just defend. I know I say just defend like it's supposed to be easy and it can be intimidating at first, but there are a couple things that you need to learn when it comes to just defending. And I'm going to show you a couple drills that you can practice, and these are the drills that I run to get decent at just defending. I'm kind of at a level where I can do it semi-consistently, but not like all the time. And that's mainly because of the higher rank, people will start mixing up, throwing in grabs, make it harder for JD. But generally, I'm pretty good at JD. So what I'm going to do first is show you at least one of the techs you need to learn to JD. If you never learn how to JD anything else in your life, you're going to have to learn how to do this, because it's going to carry you incredibly far, especially if you're fighting one of those people who knock you down and then they just go on the offense on Oki and you can never get your turn back. Especially Jenny. This one you gotta learn if you're gonna play her, because she doesn't have a DP at all, so she has to hold pressure. And going back to safe jumping, if you are like not just her, but if you're a character who doesn't have a DP or any type of reversal option, and you're getting safe jumped on, you're basically just dead to rights. There's very little you can do, because it's just always their turn. You're gonna get slaughtered. Jenny's counter will get beaten out. Tidok has to suffer through this. Kevin has to suffer through this. There's a lot of characters that don't have DPs, especially that need to learn how to JD. And the issue comes in, and why this is number 2 on the list is because a lot of times I see people just blocking normally. I see people choosing a rev guard instead of do JD. And there are times rev guard, but I'm going to show you right now why JDing is super important. Like right now.
PG!
Uh-oh, I'm so done. Now I'm
As you can see
mad.
there, I completely just lost my pressure to a JD rev blow. JD just defending in rev blow is such a very strong defensive tool that very few people at the low rate take advantage of. In fact, you don't really see this get used, funnily enough, until you hit S ranks. S ranks is when I started noticing other people started doing that in particular. That's when I started getting really good at JDing and JD rev blowing, JD DPing. A ranks I've seen it a couple times, but it's mainly just been me doing it. If you're ever going to learn how to JD, you have to learn how to do it on wake up. You have to. JD rev blow on wake up is super strong for getting out of pressure. You don't even have to do like a super cancel or a special cancel after you do a JD, but because that can be trickier, but we'll get to that later. But if you ever JD, wake up on Oki is the best time to do it, because most of the time, like I said, people are going to knock you down and they're just going to pressure you immediately. So if you can learn to time the JD on wake up and then do your rev blow after, you'll most of the time get a counter hit, or at least get pressure off you if it can be your turn. Very strong tech. It's worked in S rank. In fact, on my S rank video, you'll see it happen a lot. Trust me, people are very greedy when it comes to their pressure, like overly greedy. So you can definitely abuse it. Now, the way you time it is you can just, if you want to practice yourself, you just set the bot to knock you down or just throw you, for example.
Bye-bye.
And then you're going to have the bot pressure you on Oki like that, right? Like immediately. And how you know you got the time right is if you try to do an attack and it says reversal or a counter hit, then that's basically immediate timing, right? So how you do this, the JD I do most of the time to try to get it consistent is like right when your character's about to get up, you're gonna do a micro duck, like a literal micro duck, and then you're gonna JD. And once you practice it, it'll usually give you the JD and red blow. Once it gets muscle memory, it'll become a very strong tech you can use. So that's one of the biggest things you need to do on Oki. Trust me, like if you're sick of getting pressured and you don't have a DP, you gotta want to learn to do that. Especially if you're playing Jenny, man, you gotta get the JDs down. You have to. I'll do it one more time to show them how it looks on the computer.
Uh-oh, I'm so done. Now I'm mad.
It's a very strong tool. And of course, this works with strings as well. So make sure that you lab other characters' strings and like Gato strings, the big ones. People definitely learn how to JD that. Lab Terry's, Rekka's, the punches. Learn how to JD that and red blow that. But most of all, practice JDing on Oki. Like I said, just do a micro duck. Try to time your micro duck when your character gets up, and if you get the JD, then you red blow. And another trick to red blowing, if the string is a legit string, like if the string is a full string, the jails is true, it doesn't have a gap, then just mash the back arrow, like literally just match it, and you'll get JDs all the way through. So I'll give you an example.
PG.
See, if you look at my keybind, I'm literally just mashing with like a first JD watch.
PG.
Literally mash the back arrow. Look at the keybind to the left one more time.
PG.
There you go. So once you get the first JD, if the string is a true string that has no gaps, then you can continue mashing the back arrow and you will continue to get just defends all the way through until the string is complete. And then if you know when the string is going to end, then you can time your red blow right there.
PG.
Right there.
PG. Now I'm mad.
Now, a good way to practice doing your JD in neutral is with kind. Anytime anybody tells me how to work on their JDing, I always tell them start with kind, have them do his Dark Angel ult, and just practice JDing that. The reason I recommend doing kind's ult is because the orb is very slow. It's not super fast, so the timing is super strict. On top of that, you can practice JDing at any range. So like you can start all the way back here, and as you get comfortable, you move in close and start to JD it. And then once you get really comfortable doing it here, you move in point blank. And you can try to JD the ult right there. On top of that, his ult is very good for practicing your air JDing to help you get that timing down. So, and this is how I started to learn JDing in the beginning and become comfortable with it. I started with kind, so I'll show you one of the drills I run right now.
Fumble before my ambition.
And you practice it.
Fumble before my ambition.
It's very generous.
Fumble before my ambition.
And what this will do, practicing at this distance, will help you get comfortable JDing normal projectiles, so like Power Geyser, Hotaru, Fireball. At this distance, it's basically training you to JD normal projectiles. And then you move in closer and get comfortable in the back. But just start from here. And then get used to doing that.
Fumble before my ambition. Fumble before my ambition.
See there? It doesn't get too
Fumble before my ambition.
And then you move in closer and
Fumble
practice.
before my ambition. Fumble before my ambition.
Right there. Now, once you're comfortable on the ground and you feel like you've got comfortable doing that, just have him shoot the ult and try to jump in JD in there.
Fumble before my ambition.
See there, the time's a little bit different.
I'm so done with you.
That'll help you get your air JDing down.
Fumble before my ambition.
Because the height at which you have to JD the orb is the same height that you would have to JD a DP. So when you jump in and someone tries to DP you, that's exactly when you would do the DP. Right, when you
Fumble
do the
before
orb.
my ambition. Fumble before my ambition.
So just get comfortable doing this.
Fumble before my ambition. Fumble before my ambition.
It's very good practice, trust me.
Fumble before my ambition.
I know a lot of people don't talk about this drill here, but
Fumble before my ambition.
we need to get closer to the more
Now
difficult.
I'm mad.
Fumble before my ambition. Fumble before my ambition. Fumble before my ambition. Fumble before my ambition.
So I think kind of the very beginner-friendly character to practice JDing on. And it's not useless. A lot of people might say that this is worthless, not a realistic drill, but trust me, every kind of their mother shoots ult, so you might as well learn how to JD them. And on top of that, it's not useless because basically everybody's zoned in this game, so what you're doing is basically practicing just defending fireballs, and you're practicing your air defense, and you're also practicing JDing projectiles.
Fumble before my ambition. Fumble before my ambition.
Very sleeper drill. I definitely recommend practicing time when it comes to JDing. The next character I would move on to, which will be a little more difficult when it comes to JDing, is actually Mai. We'll get to that. So, we go to Mai. I put her at the next person. You go to a little more intermediate when you're done with time because this ult is not going to be give you as much time. You know, this is more of like This is more of a drill to help you get used to JDing in the heat of battle, like when someone attacks and you want to JD up close. This is more of that type of training. So when you're getting pressured and you need to JD through, or is up close, Maya's a good trainer for that. And you just have her do this ult here.
Feel the flames.
And JD that. I gotta be up close.
Feel the flames.
Now you don't have to JD the last hit, but
Feel the flames.
JD the rest. It's 21 hits. This is the drill I went to myself, and it helped me get really good at JDing like in the heat of battle. My opponent was pressuring me, like JDing things. So Mai is very good for that. This will help you get used to split second JD. See that? That's the last JD because it's a gap, right? So I can just mash all the way through. But once I get the first JD, I'm just mashing back.
Feel the flames.
So yeah, once you're comfortable with Kine, I think Kine is definitely the most versatile drill, but once you're done with that, you need a little more extreme practice JDing. Definitely start with Mai. And the third drill, which I think is very important, which nobody talks about, this one will help you get your hyper defense training down, or at least practice it, to practice enough to know at least what it is and how to implement it in the game. That trainer, in my opinion, the best one for that is Tomorrow, which I will show you. So the reason I recommend Tomorrow for hyper defense training is because both of his ults, both of them, the one where he does the blast and the one where he does the whim, both of his ults are surprisingly very easy to hyper defend. So what this will do is help you understand what the hyper defense is and how it works and how to utilize it and get comfortable doing it, right? Hyper defending is a lot trickier than just defending. But the reason Tomorrow is so good is because you don't have to worry about the hyper-specific timing to hyper defend. You can basically implement it at any point during this ult once you figure out how to do it. Now, the way you hyper defend in this game is you, instead of pressing back like just defense, you have to press forward doing a multi-hitting string that jails you. So, for example, Billy's move with the staff where he'll pull you in and how it hits multiple times. That's a jailing that hits multiple times, so you're able to hyper defend that. If it's just like something like jabbing, for example, you won't be able to hyper defend that because it's not a multi-hitting move that jails you, if that makes sense. Basically, I'll show you Hokuto's ult. I probably should just show Hokuto's ult so you can get a better understanding of what I'm saying. Right? So moves that hit multiple times are basically prone to being hyper defend. Now, how you hyper defend is you have to be blocking first, and then you have to press forward at the right time. So basically, you need to walk forward at the right time while you're being hit on block to get that hyper defend. However, in a lot of cases, hyper defending is very risky because if you mess up the timing, your character will stop blocking, you'll get punished, and you'll get hit. So Never go for a hybrid defend unless you're really confident you're gonna get it. But the good thing about Hokujamaru's ults is that they are all extremely easy to hybrid defend. Extremely. You don't have to be super lenient when it comes to pressing forward during his either of his ults. You can kind of just press forward at any point, and you'll get the hybrid defend. So I'll show you what that looks like. For example, I blocked a couple of hits, and I was able to just press forward and immediately start pressing back. I'll do it one more time. Very easy. You can do it on a level 2 one as well. One more time. Yeah, I pressed it super late that time, but I was still able to get it because his ult timing is very generous. We'll go on to his next ult. Same thing. Very easy to hybrid defend. And then we'll do the level 2 version. Right. So just practice on tomorrow. And this will help you understand at least what hybrid defense is and how to implement it. And this is very realistic tools because everybody plays Hokujamaru. He's literally the most used character on ranked. And Hoku does not have a DP. His only real reversal option is doing the one when he does that orb and then explodes. So you can very easily implement it in a real match. Another character you can try it against is Billy, because Billy jailed a lot, so it's very important to practice on him. So I'll go to Billy real quick and show you that. As you can see there, Billy, the character, hits multiple times, so he is a great character that you need to learn to hybrid defend, especially since he is quite literally a very top 5 character in the game, and everybody's using him in the higher rank. So you got to practice hybrid defending Billy. Start with Hokujamaru to get comfortable, and then move on to Billy because the character you actually need to practice on. And this is a string that a lot of Billies will do, so please learn how to hybrid defend it. Got to. It'll save your life, trust me. You don't want to overheat. Learn how to hybrid defend Billy. So that's it for the JDing portion of the video. Okay, so the third thing that I think we need to work on, especially in the lower ranks, I see this so often, and it actually makes me a little upset that I have to go over this goal, but it's okay, we're gonna learn. You guys have to learn how to cash in on every hit. What I mean is cash in on every hit. There will be so many times where I'll see someone get a hit, and instead of capitalizing on it, they'll just do something like this, right? Let's say somebody does something like this, right? Okay, let's see. Let's say someone does the ult and you block it, or they do an extremely unsafe move, right? Instead of doing an optimal punish, a lot of the players I see in the lower ranks, they'll do this. Something like this. You had such a big punish opportunity. That was the biggest chance to go big, and instead of doing the combo you practice for centuries or your most optimal combo to make it hurt, you grabbed. You had such a good opportunity to punish, and instead you grabbed it. Or another time, I'll see this. No, don't do that. Don't do that. If you get an opportunity to get a hit, or if you land that hit, you better make it hurt. Cash in. Every time. They just ate 40%. Make it hurt.
I'm so done with you.
That is what I mean by cashing in. I see too many people get an opportunity to punish something, and then they just do a throw, they'll do a trip, they'll just jab, not cap in. No. You have to take advantage of the opportunities you're given. When somebody makes a mistake, make it hurt. You need to make the mistake hurt. Do not let them get off scot-free. It is very hard in neutral for a lot of, for a couple characters that are in top 5 anyway, to get the hit in the first place. So when you get a golden opportunity to get that hit, you got to make it hurt. And please spin the bar. Please, if you get any opportunity to stab something like this, the bar is being spent every time. I'll spin the bar every time. There is never a moment where I'll do a combo and the bar is not spent unless they're going for a safe jump. But I'm spinning that bar. Imagine if they did something like this in the corner. Gonna hurt.
Now I'm mad.
And that is very big for today off that ult, because you get a lot of dirty Oki setup, which I'm not going to show you because it's not a guide on how to play Janae. It's a guide on how to survive ranked, how to improve, and not be stuck in the lower ranks. But you get what I'm saying. A lot of characters can get some dirt set up off Oki. A lot of characters get their pressure established on Oki. There's just so much stuff you can do when you cash in and not let punishes go to waste. So please, when you find an opening, please take advantage, especially if you block an ult. There is no reason your opponent does not need to be eating at least 40% minimum. No way. Gotta capitalize on your punishes. When I have a bar and I get a punish or I get that hit, the bar is being spent. The setups are being put into action. It's my turn for OK and pressure, especially because he's a character who's pretty weak on defense without having SPG. I want my turn. They're gonna feel it when I get my opportunity to hit him. If I got to hold pressure in JD and do everything I showed you, didn't get my turn, and I get opportunity to hit, I'm cashing in. It's my turn. Make them hurt. Dropping punishes and missing opportunities to cash in on punishes is such a big deal in this game. It will literally keep you in the low range if you do not cash in when you get the opportunity to do it. So please, that is a big red flag that I see. Even some of the friends that I have taught how to play this game, some people I've been teaching, some people I watch, some of the friends that I watch, they make this mistake, and every time it makes me facepalm at the screen watching. Please stop missing punishes. If the move is unsafe, if you get an opportunity to get that punish, take it. Take it. Do not hold back. Make it hurt. Make them not want to do it again. You have to capitalize on your opponent's mistakes in this game. That's how you win. Capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. So please do that. Step 3 and 4 intertwined, because that step 3 was basically cashing on every hit, but step 4 was basically punishing optimally. And that goes back to, like I said, step 3, which is cashing on every hit. Step 4 is basically punishing optimally. Like, so basically when you get the opportunity to punish, like I said before, what I mean by punish optimally is go for the most optimal punish you can get. So one of Jenny's best combos. 47% right there. That's one of her better combos made screen. Another one that I like to do that's more meter conservative for me at this point. Doesn't make me overheat as fast. So it gives me about 41%. I'm only at 27% rev in Excel ratio. So yeah, anytime you get an opportunity to get a hit, or anytime you get an opportunity to get a punish of anything, try to go for the most optimal meter efficient combo you can get that'll still give you decent damage. You don't want to overdo it. A lot of times there's another problem that I see people do, which will come later on the list, but don't overshoot your combo and burn your red meter in a combo off a punish if it's not going to kill, because then you put yourself closer to overheat. But like I said, that's bordering on to the next one of the other steps later on in the list. But yeah, just punish optimally. Anytime you get a punish, like basically, like I said, cash in, make it optimal. Okay, so step 5. This is a big one. In fact, I'm gonna have to show you guys some text for this one to make it easier for you. Step 5. Learn the short hop. Learn the wave dash. Now, if your character is a runner, you can disregard the wave dashing part. However, Jenny is not a runner, she is a dasher. So wave dashing is something that she can do, and anybody else who dashes needs to learn how to do this. So, short hopping. What is the short hop? So So short hop is not exactly what a jump is. So what a jump is basically what everybody does. This here, right? You jump over the person, jump over the character. You're just jumping, doing your attack, right? That's jumping. What a short hop is you're not doing a full jump, but you're doing a half jump. So what that looks like is this. So I'm not jumping over the character. This is a short hop. Now, the way you implement a short hop usually is you would tap the button instead of holding it. Tap it. And you can tell when you're jumping, it makes a different noise. See, that's how a jump sounds. And here's how a short hop sounds. Sounds very light, right? It's very... Now, I understand it can be very tricky to try to... See, I jumped there. It can be very hard to try to short hop during game, trying to specifically tap the button and get it to every time. That can be annoying, right? However, this game does have a shortcut to make it easier, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. And once I show you this, anybody will be able to do it. It's not difficult whatsoever. All you got to do is hold your trusty rev guard button and jump. Hold the button and jump. See, if you look at my little keybind down there, it says rev button is glowing, it's held, and I'm just jumping, holding the button. Short hopping every time. Every time. Now, why this is important is because a lot of the time, the short hops are what's going to lead you to your mix. So, for example, I get a knockdown. Right there, and I can go to low, right? Go for a low. Yep. Or
I'm so done.
I can just jump. I'll start it that way. Go for overhead.
No,
Or if I don't want to go overhead, I'll just do a low. There, I hit overhead, and I got a combo. Now, if I don't want to do overhead,
I'm so done.
get my low.
Now I'm not.
You there? Very strong.
I'm so
Another thing about short hopping is short hopping, unlike the jumps, it's a lot harder to anti-air a short hop, right? Because short hop, you're a lot lower to the ground, you're gonna hit the ground faster. So if somebody tries to react to your DP, try to actually jump with DP a lot later, than trying to anticipate it being a jump, then what happens a lot of times they will miss and you'll be able to punish. And this has carried me. This is another thing that I tell people is a very strong tool to use. It's gotten me past C ranks and got me through B ranks very effectively, along with my safe jumping. And keep in mind, when I go over these steps, you're going to be taking all these into account. So, especially C ranks, especially B ranks. Right there. Short hop again. Short hop. Didn't run overhead that time. So you can see how effective that can be, right? Because basically, even if your opponent rev guards on Ogi, they still have to guess between a overhead or a low. And of course, there are safe jumps that you can use with your short hops that'll make it a lot stronger. That's why I say safe jumping is very strong, because a lot of them implement short hops anyway. And the mix is still going to be a very strong threat, but it's just safe. So the mix basically becomes safe mix that baits, ults, and DP that you can block. You can see why it's quite literally a very strong tool and why I put it number one. It's very strong. What it'll also do is make a lot of safe jump sets that you see on YouTube that involve short hopping a lot easier to do.
I'm so done with you.
This is a safe jump right there. That is the setup. Now how you do the safe jump is you hit the red blow with your grab, and then you short. Safe jump, didn't get punished. You see there, I was even able to do the kick, evade it, and I didn't get punished. The reason out of the very strong safe jump is because if they happen to do a DP or an ult, I'll be able to block it, but if they do nothing, or if they don't block, I can hit them with the short kick. get a combo. Like, you can basically perform any safe jump in the game with any character as long as you have the shortcut for the short hopping, because you don't have to simply time your short hop at all. I'm not gonna show them all, but I said this is not a tutorial on Gen A per se, but we're learning. Please learn how to use short hop. It's a very strong tool for mix. It's a very strong tool for being safe. Very strong tool for pressure. It makes it hard to do anti-air. There's just so much utility you can do with your short hop that it would be a shame to not abuse it. Use and abuse. It is one of the reasons that jumping is so busted in this game, despite jumps not being a good thing in most fights. This is not the game. You better be jumping. Just jump wisely and mix it up. Wave dashing is basically dashing patterns. So here's what a normal dash looks like. Right, and I'll give you guys a shortcut to dash either without having to double tap forward or double tap 6, as it would be called in arcade games. You can dash consistently as long as you hold the red button and press forward. See, I'm just holding the red button and I'm holding forward and I'm dashing every time, not having to double tap. So I'm not ever getting the air. I'm just going to hold the red and press forward. Now to wave dash, it's basically this using the same shortcut. But instead of just holding forward while you're holding the red button, you're gonna hold the red button and then you're gonna buffer down forward, or you're gonna buffer 2-6 over and over. So look. PG. And there you go. You are wave dashing. Now, the reason wave dashing is super important is because there'll be a lot of times where you knock your opponent too far from you with a move and you won't be able to get them because you're dashing, right? Or there'll be a lot of times where your opponent will do a move where they'll overshoot you, but you can't dash or normally get the punish. But with wave dashing, you can cover that distance really quick and actually get a punish where you normally wouldn't be able to. The main time you're going to be using the wave dash is when you get a hard knockdown, so not a light knockdown. Hard knockdown especially because you know they're not going to be able to roll. But you can wave dash on soft knockdowns. You have to be mindful of the roll. And there is an OS where you can basically wave dash and catch the roll no matter which way they roll. But that's basically when you would use wave dash. You're not going to use it in neutral because when you're wave dashing, you're still open to get hits. You're not necessarily blocking. Use it when you get a knockdown. Use it when you get a attack that knocks you far away where you normally wouldn't be able to get it. Wave dashing covers the screen very far. It allows you to get punishes and create pressure where you normally wouldn't be able to. It's a very strong tool. I use it a lot. If you watch the videos of me playing a ranked, you'll be able to see it implemented a lot. The biggest thing is definitely short hopping, but please turn wave dash. It's a very strong tool. All right, step 6 is a very big one. In fact, I don't even think I need to use Jenny for this, but we'll start with her because she actually does have a 2 anti-airs we don't know about. But step 6 is learn to anti-air. Like I said, jumping is very strong in this game. There are cross-up jumps. There's a cross-up up. There's short hop mix, as we discussed earlier. So there's a lot of reasons why you don't want your opponent to be in the air. And Jenny happens to be one of the better characters in the air. Anytime your opponent is jumping, you really want to try to get the end here whenever you can. Now, a lot of times in lower ranks, people don't short hop at all. I've actually never seen a B rank get below short hop. I've seen an A rank, but I've never seen a B rank ever use short hop. Most of the time, people jump spam their behinds off. They're jump spamming a lot, and they're always jumping. They're short hopping, they're always jumping. So what will be important is that you learn how to anti-air those. See there, I just cashed in 32% off the jump. SPG! SPG! 34% of the
I'm so done with you.
SPG!
And for the record, I think I should bring this up. Yes, that move for Jenny does much like a DP because the move The Hind does actually have upper body invincibility in all versions. The light version is upper body invincible. The heavy version is upper body invincible. And the EX version is upper body invincible. So if somebody jumps in on you and you're playing Janae and they do an air attack, you can, if your reaction is good, you can anti-air with that. And this is actually low-key one of the best anti-air to the game. Because unlike a DP break, which is usually safe, so they're very busted, this one is actually, the EX version of this is actually +1 on block. This is +1. So if you happen to mistime it and not get the anti-air and they're able to block you, you're going to be +1. So what that means is it's still her turn. So a lot of DPs in this game are, actually I don't know of another DP besides Kynes, I think, that is plus on block. So Janae's anti-air is quite privileged. So it's definitely to be used. The moment you see them jump, you need to be able to react and you need to get the anti-air on point. It's very important in this game because jumps are so important. You there?
Done with you.
DP break with Terry at 30 times. As you can see, DPs are quite strong in this game, especially characters that have DP breaks. These are safe. Not plus like Jenny. Jenny's has a +1, but these are only like -2 on block. So even if you miss the anti-air in most characters, at least you're going to be safe on that. But it's important that you get your reactions made. It's important that you practice doing for having the computer jump and try to attack you, and you just get comfortable DP breaking and catching the combo. Even if you don't DP break, at least you're normal DP. Practice. Get consistent.
I can do this all day.
Now I'm mad.
It's very strong. It is highly important that you learn the anti-air. Now, with anti-airing, there are risks, right? Because you have to play around SPG. Now, the reason you have to be careful anti-airing a lot of times with DP break is because when your opponent jumps, they, like the anti-air doing the damage is going up. There are options your opponent can do. Like, for example, they can air JD, because air just defend is the thing in this game, so you can definitely air just defend it. But the worst thing you have to deal with is actually air red blow, because your DP cannot deal with that, else you got to lose. I got counter hit.
Close one.
That's not fun. You don't want to do that. So basically, when you're trying to go for anti-air, you also have to keep in mind if your opponent has SPG or not, because it has SPG. If you try to air DP them, you run the risk of getting counter hit by a air red blow, and that is not fun because that could lead to a lot of damage you don't want to take. However, there is an option that you can do to deal with that, and that is your good old universal dodge. Every character has this. So there's a high version, which is this. The universal overhead everybody has, and you're just gonna press your whatever macro you have for this. It's rev and attack. I have a macro for it. And what this one does is it dodges low attack and it dodges grab. So this is basically your low dodge attack. And your high dodge is you hold down. And what this does is it even it eats through the armor of red blow. So if they try to air red blow you, nothing. Nothing. Not a red blow. So when they are in SPG, you're probably going to want to do this. Most definitely going to want to do this. And when they don't have SPG, DP break. However, you need to keep in mind that there is air JD in this game. Like that. So you got to feel out your opponent, know when you want to use all these anti-air options, but here's something that everybody can do: the universal air dodge. To deal with air attacks, attacks for anti-air, and a lot of characters that combo off it. but you just gotta keep in mind that air JD is a thing, and it'll beat DPs and it'll beat air dodge attack.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of feeling out your opponent, adapting what you have to do, and a lot of patterns you have to take into account, but it is very important that you learn the ATR anyway because it's going to save your life. And in lower ranks, like I said, a lot of people jump in lower ranks. Like, it's actually a chronic disease with how bad people jump in lower ranks. It's basically free if you can learn how to anti-air properly and use these tools effectively. These aren't just for show, right? This is, every character has a plus string off using their feint. So I'll show you Jenny's. See how this is -5? Now if I use my feint, it's now +3. Now what this means is it jails into this, right? So it's able to keep pressure.
Overheat.
And I can just boss up, keep it going, right?
SPG. SPG.
And I will show you.
SPG. SPG.
Nice.
SPG. SPG.
So that's just one example of skill as feint. So, learn the feint. When you use them, they're very important, especially a lot of the downwards feints are like your character's fireball feint. So this is Jenny's animation for this move here. So if a lot of times you'll be trying to zone and somebody will jump over your zoning, right? Well, one of the strategies I'll do with Jenny is I'll maybe shoot her a couple projectiles, wait a little bit, start faking this one, right? Try to bait them to jump. If they jump, you know, you anti-air them with basically, and you can get combos going. So all the feints are useful. Just figure out which feint leads to your character's string, leads to your character's pressure. Everybody has one. Please use them. They are not existing to be pretty. They actually have functionality, and they lead to combo extenders on hit. So it's not only about guard pressure. They, like I said, they also give you extended combos. And there you go. Brief one, but we'll move on to our next step now. This will tie into basically the feints. So the next step is learning to recognize the gaps, and this comes from labbing other characters. Remember I showed you guys how strong feints can be, how they have the pressure going. Well, the beautiful part about feints is they are gaps because they're like the pause. I can even reload this. Gap right there. Or I can just do this. Up the gap. So, as strong as feints are, and as strong as some moves may be in this game, there are a lot of gaps and a lot of strings that characters have. Kind will feint on you all day. They always do the punch feint into like the spin away or the one that leaves them plug, right? Kind is very good at it, so learning to identify what gaps are and learning how to optimally punish them, like with say a DP or a counter or red blowing through the gaps or doing the ult to the gaps. There's a lot of options you can take. And learning how to do them at the highest level is going to be very important. It'll get you out of lower ranks, especially Jenny, because I'm not gonna lie, Jenny is a very strong noob crusher. Like a lot of lower ranks would just hit by this all the time. Over and over. So this is what a lot of Jennies will flow chart to. This is their main bread and butter. And people will try to hit after that, right? But knowing it's a gap, will just say you can DP here, ult that, some characters can red blow through it. So it's important that you study every character's strings, identify what's a gap, or even in the middle of a match, if you can just pay attention to patterns and realize when there's a pause in the middle of someone's string, you can tell what's a gap right away. I'll show you another one, right? But it's a gap.
SPG! SPG! SPG!
It's a gap.
SPG! SPG!
Gap.
SPG!
So there'll be a lot of things that you will hold in this
You pay for
game that just seem impossible to get out of, but if you just pay attention to a lot of patterns or even lab with the character's strings, you will find that there are a lot of gaps. I'll show you guys a big one. That is a gap.
SPG! Breakdown! Kick one!
Gap.
SPG! Breakdown! Kick one!
Not real.
SPG! Breakdown! Kick one!
You can DP that.
SPG! Breakdown! Kick one! SPG!
Even dodge that hit.
Kick one! SPG! Breakdown! Kick one!
And that kills a lot of people. Terry gets away with murders a lot of people, but little do you guys know, that is not real. Now we have the way to make it real. Like you can do the EX Fireball, you can go to the EX Brecca, but the crack shoot after that is not real. It's fake. You can kill him if he does it.
SPG! Breakdown! Kick one!
Deal with, figuring out what's important, what's real, what's not real. It is going to carry you very far in this game, along with the other knowledge that we have been over and presented.
1, 2!
Fake.
SPG! 1, 2!
Fake.
SPG! 1, 2!
Not real.
SPG! 1, 2!
Punishable. Now the EX one does jail. It doesn't have a jailing portion, but there is a portion of it where it's also not real and it's also a gap. But yeah, there's a lot of weak points in a lot of people's gameplays and in the characters that people don't know exist. But that all comes with labbing, going through the characters. What I'm saying, if you're able to just go over the characters, lab them in training, lab a lot of the stuff that people will do, you will find that a lot of the stuff that people do, they're getting away with murder. A lot of times you're just getting knowledge check. So understanding what's not real, knowing how to punish those things is going to carry you very far. So please learn to identify gaps. It's going to save your life. You will be, if you can get that knowledge and force your opponent to second guess doing their options, you can make a lot of plays. Like you punish it a couple times, they'll stop committing to it. You can get a read and even get a punish or take your turn back a lot of times if you give them a reason not to do the same thing. Because a lot of times if the strat's working, the player's not going to stop doing it. Like if I'm just going to be able to keep doing this to you over and over and you're not stopping it, why would I stop? You know, you have to DP me or hit me with an ult to make me like second guess doing it. If you're not, you're just going to eat it all day. So food for thought. That type of knowledge will carry you well into S rank. Actually, that type of knowledge is very high level knowledge that you need to implement in your gameplay. So looking at the characters, find their gaps, learn to identify them, punish them effectively, lab the punishes, and you'll be on your way to S rank in no time.
SPG! SPG!
All right. The next step. Step number 9. And this is such a big one. There are high-ranking players, even in S rank, that do this all the time. And I used to be a very big victim of this. I still do it, but it's a little more strategic now. But there are times where I even do it and sometimes forget myself. But this step is very important. Do not spam red blow. Do not do it. I know it's very tempting to spam this button because it's just the armor, get off me, I'm safe on block tool, but here's the problem with spamming red blow. two things, especially in the low ranks. You low ranks love red blow. It goes all the way to A rank. I've seen people spam red blow. A rank is when it becomes super prominent. This habit does not die. I faced a Hokutomaru who literally spammed red blow back to back to back to back to back. It was quite literally annoying until he overheated, and that's the downside why they don't do it. In case you guys aren't aware, SPGs have a different effect on your rev gauge, right? So Excel, for example, this will jack your rev gauge up the most. So watch what happens when I do just a normal move.
Come on.
25% already, right?
Come on.
Another,
Come on.
another,
Come on.
overheat. Every EX move and Excel ratio takes 25%. So you only get 4 EX moves, right? Red blow, the same amount. Well, almost the same amount. They get 6 red blow for your overheat, right? So if you are spamming your red blow, you are overheating yourself. You are asking to die. Now, red blow might be all fine and dandy because if it hits, you get your person off, you get the opponent off you, and it's very strong with Jenny, which a lot of Jenny players do not do. Only like the couple I've seen in the S ranks, including myself, do this, but hers gives her a very strong safe jump that you can cash in on. However, and I'm gonna come after my own here. Jenny players especially, Billy players especially, Kevin players especially, Slut players especially. Now, granted, those 4 characters, they don't have a DP, so we understand why they can't. But and Hogan players. Hogan players are number 1. All 5 of these characters, Jenny, Kevin, Tizak, Billy, and Hokutomaru, will spam the ever-living hell out of this button.
I'm so
It's the comfort button. And then they will
Now
overheat.
I'm mad.
And then they will find themselves on the receiving end of pressure, talk about how they cannot play the game, how they can't rev guard anything, how they got a whole pressure, then they'll just die. The reason is because you're spamming your red blow. And here's the thing, you do that in the higher ranks, your red blow will get baited. I'm going to tell you exactly what I do when I fight people that red blow. I was fighting a Mai that did it, I was fighting a Billy that did it, I was fighting a Kevin that did it. All the characters I mentioned, I was fighting Janae's that do it. Now look at you, you just jacked yourself up to 24% and you got nothing. Now, red blow might be very appealing, but once you hit the higher levels, I promise you, your red blow will get baited. You're gonna jack your rev gauge up for no reason, and you're gonna get punished anyway. And then before you know it, you're gonna get overheated. You're gonna be on the receiving end of a block screen that guard breaks you, and you will die. If you're going to red blow, do it strategically. There are times and places to red blow. Do not just spam it. Like there's videos where I fight in the mirrors with Jennies and they are rev blowing their asses off. Like, if you want to get them on the ground, their option is to rev blow. And I'm going to tell you specifically why that doesn't work against Jenny of all characters. Jenny is the one character who will kill you for rev blowing because she has set up that destroy armor. Bye bye, red blow.
SPG.
Bye bye, red blow.
SPG.
No red blow for you. So basically what I'm telling you is don't spam your red blow, especially your Jenny players. You guys love that button, and it quite literally is going to get you killed. Now, she has, in my opinion, the second best red blow in the game. I don't care what nobody says. That red blow is absolutely cracked. It is 13 frames. It is it's the best red blow for anti-air. It gives her a hard knockdown. It does a lot. So Jenny's will be brain dead and fall to that button. However, if your opponent is really good at baiting that button, or they just bait your red blow and don't attack, like I can literally just do this, you're at 20%. God forbid I do this to you. And there are so many other ways to bait so many other red blows in this game. Like, there's just too many. Like that. So basically, be mindful when you red blow. I understand that a lot of people will just, they love that button and just throw it out there anyway. High rank to do it. But once you're fighting a high level opponent who understands when you're going to red blow, how to bait it effectively, how to counter it, you will regret it. Your rev gauge will be extremely high. You'll overheat. You'll use your moves. You'll put yourself in a bad spot, and it's overall gonna get you killed. If you're gonna red blow strategically. Basically, don't spam it. Use it efficiently. Use it effectively. Use it after you JD, like I showed you earlier. JD red blowing is a very strong tool to punish a lot of gaps. If you're fighting somebody who has a DP, like Terry, for example, jumping in air red blowing is very strong. A lot of them will try to anti-air you. You can get a counter hit. So just be strategic with your red blow. A lot of times it's not worth the amount of rev gauge you spend to just get a knockdown. Basically what I'm trying to tell you. Use it. Red blow is a very strong tool. In fact, it needs a nerf, but don't be brain dead. It'll kill you if you be brain dead. Okay, looking at you Jenny players. Stop doing it. Use it wisely. Okay.
PG.
And that leads me to the next portion of the video. Number 10. Manage your meter well. I understand combos are very easy in this game. In fact, what I see a lot of low rank players do is they will chain super after super after super after super and think they got an ult. And then they have a combo, right? And learn how to play the game. Here's the thing that this game doesn't teach you. The more EX moves you chain in a combo, the more your combo scales and the more you overheat. So I'll just give you a basic.
SPG.
Look at that.
Now I'm mad.
I did 35% and that was a 60% each.
SPG.
Not very effective.
SPG.
Look at this.
I'm so done
70%,
with you.
46. I mean, it was decent, but look at the rev gauge. Was that very meter efficient? I don't think so. I've just put myself in a very bad spot. That means I have like 40% rev gauge left to use for the rest of the round, and I barely did even 50% damage. So the damage might look good, but at the end of the day, you're really putting yourself in the back foot because, like I said, your rev gauge is extremely high. Your opponent didn't die. You have to take into effect that when you block, your rev gauge is also getting jacked up. And by jacked up, I mean it's going up. That is what I mean by using your meter well. A lot of lower ranked players will just burn the EXs, not realizing that it's hurting them in the long run. A lot of times if I see somebody doing that, I'll let them go. Right, you don't have a choice, but I'll be like, okay, you hit me hard for like no damage. But if I get the hit again, you're probably just gonna get overheated, right?
SPG.
Here's the golden rule. Usually, 2 EX moves per combo is about what you want to try for. Some characters have to go beyond it, but generally 2 is a sweet spot. Because what happens is, what it's going to tell you is when you do non-EX moves in a combo, your rev bar actually goes down during the combo. And another thing is your combo stops scaling when you do normal moves.
PG.
70%, right? And I got 35%.
Now I'm mad.
Now here's one
SPG.
where I don't spend as much.
SPG.
I actually did more than the last
done with
combo,
you.
and only
SPG.
30% was spent in Excel. Let's do an actual optimal combo.
SPG.
27.
Now I'm mad.
SPG.
Now let's do the hard hitting version.
SPG.
I'm in 47, so I'm in
I'm so
Excel.
done
I did
with you.
40%.
SPG.
You get the picture, right? managing my meter by doing a combo route that hits hard. Usually they do more than the combo that you spend a shit ton of EX meter on. But not only that, but I'm managing my meter because it's going down at that combo because I'm not doing too many EX moves in the combo. So keep that in mind. When you're comboing, try to find routes that don't use as much rev meter. Because at the end of the day, you're just jacking up that rev bar, putting yourself in a bad position, and you're not hitting hard anyway.
PG!
See there, I spent 2 EX moves and I got 54%. Basically, to recap, try not to spend as much meter, more meter than needed, and put yourself in a bad spot in the game. Basically, you're going to want to manage your meter accordingly. Meter management is key. Know when to cash in on your meter and when not to. If you're going to spin big on your rev gauge, you better be ready to drop the hidden gear after. Because the thing about hidden gear is another thing I'm going to tell you is when you hit a hidden gear, your rev gauge goes all the way to 0. So I'm going to show you like the most highest damaging combo that Jetty has, and then I'm going to show you it being in hidden gear.
PG!
Now we spend a load of rev bar for that combo. However, it all went back to 0 because I did a hidden gear. So that's what I mean by manage your gear. If you're going to commit, be ready to have a hidden gear ready if you're going to do a combo. And if you're going to spend that much meter, the combo better actually be worth it.
PG!
All right. I was going to have step 11 be do not overspend meter in a combo, but we just went over that in step 10. So we'll go to step 12, which is use your rev guard correctly. A lot of times when people are being pressured, they will
PG!
default to holding rev gauge on Oki, right? A lot of people do this, even the higher people do this. People tend to default to rev guarding when they are being pressured and they don't know what to do. However, the problem with this rev guarding, with rev guarding everything, is that when you're rev guarding, you're also just, it's going towards your heat. So let's say you did what we said don't do earlier, and you spend a bunch of meter on your rev guard, and you spend a bunch of EX meter on a combo, and now you're on the ground and you're being pressured and you're just rev guarding everything. First of all, the reason you don't just rev guard every chance you get is because rev guarding is not a omni block everything. It's a omnidirectional guard, meaning you can't be crossed up. So I'll show you how that looks really good. Yeah, I'm gonna cross up here. Now I'll have her rev guard, and I can't, but then block all directions. So it's good for that. That's actually one of the times you really want to do it, is when you know someone's going to cross you up, you rev guard then, or when they're in the air, you rev guard the air attack, so that way if there's a cross up attempt, it doesn't happen to you.
SPG!
But it doesn't block low or high. So that's why you don't just rev guard willy-nilly. We're trying to conserve meter, we don't just want to do it recklessly, right? When you want to rev guard is, again, when they're in the air and there's a cross attempt coming. It's actually a very strong tool to use against B-Jetty when she's in the air and they go for cross attempts. You definitely want to rev guard her so that the cross up doesn't work, because you blocked, protecting basically every portion of where you would get hit, front and back. Another time it's important to rev guard is when someone's doing a feint. Yeah, they just slipped out of my, the cancel that's normally +3, it's now negative, right? They got pushed out.
SPG! SPG!
So it's really strong against people that do feint combos because it has a very high pushback. Another thing that's very strong against is rev blows. Completely push him out of the way. and you're not getting punished. Now the red blow is still safe, but you're not in range to where they could do it again or do some BS off the red blow that people do. Like let's say hold control, the red blow, you try to hit it. No, you're out of there if you hold the rev guard button. So that's when you want to rev guard. Rev guard cross up attempts. Rev guard when someone's fainting, it'll usually push them away, get negative. Make them negative, but you can actually punish people who are fainting with rev guard active on some characters. So definitely lab it out. I can actually show you a prime character under you can rev guard. And a lot of us players do this all the time. All the time.
SPG!
Right?
SPG!
If you block it,
SPG!
you're still in range, right?
SPG!
And it's safe, right? I can't really punish
SPG!
it. He can actually block it, so never have him, right?
SPG!
A lot of times if I rev guard this. Do it again.
Say your prayers.
So, here's an example of when rev guarding a string is very effective. Its box has a lot of stubby buttons. Well, a couple stubby buttons, especially the jab. So, whenever a box is doing this, it's better to rev guard this. Yeah. Boxes on the characters are going to get hurt really hard by rev guard, especially the jab thing. Now, there are ways that box can cover it, like you can literally just do this. So it's not just end all be all. He can add layers to it. So you gotta keep that in mind.
Now I'm mad.
But generally, when you rev guard Vox and other strings and feint cancels, rev guard usually makes moves that would be plus, negative, you can get a punish in the middle of those strings that are normally plus. So yeah, love that. Okay, so the next step is going back to step 1, which is, no, step 2, which is JDing. And this is step 13, learn to JD punish. So this goes back to what I was showing you earlier with the whole JD red blow part. Basically, it's just recapping, basically how to do this. That's better than my JD punish.
SPG! SPG!
Practice doing that.
Uh-oh, I'm so
Practice doing that. Basically how you do it is the moment you get the JD, just like red blow, the moment how you would get the JD red blow after, you're gonna do your JD and do your move right after. A lot of characters with DPs, that's gonna be their move. However, a lot of characters JD punches are not created equal. Like for example, Jenny does not have a DP that she can use to JD out of like everything the moment she would have a JD opportunity. So she really has to wait for the moment that she can do this move or do this move or even do her counter after a JD, because if the string is, if it's not the proper time for her to release the move and the move you JD comes out faster than the move that you would try to JD cancel into, you'll get counter hit.
Uh-oh, now I'm
So just practicing the timing, it's another thing, it's another very high level tech that will get you very far into the game. Just lab against other character strings as well, figure out the JD gaps and when your character can do a JD punish. I'll try to show another character. Right there. Yeah, that's that punish. So,
You'll pay for that.
practice the strings. It's gonna be very strong, especially against characters like Gato, characters like Wataru, characters like Terry, like Billy, characters that have really strong offense. You're definitely gonna want to learn how to, you're gonna get comfortable doing that. It's gonna get you your turn back. And that's where a lot of the lower ranks will struggle, basically, is the defensive part of the game, so that they don't have a grasp on. So learn the JDs, learn the JD punish, practice your air JDs against DPs, that, you know, go over kind, mind, focus tomorrow, like we showed earlier in the video. It's gonna prepare you very well. And just overall practice labbing the characters and labbing their strings, get comfortable JDing the strings, figuring out the times you can punish, and you'll be well on your way to S rank. Another thing that I want to show people is it's a very strong tech. It's something I have to show my friend here, right? Usually in this game, when it comes to movements, backdashing, doing this is not really something you want to do, because what happens when you're backdashing like this is you're considered airborne, right? And when you're considered airborne, you can't block. You cannot block when you're doing this. So one of the things a lot of pros will tell you guys is to not do this. This is bad. I know Diphone will tell you doing this is a very bad thing to do when it comes to being in neutral, because let's say I'm backing up and then Terry decides to randomly throw out a burn knuckle. I'm gonna get counter hit, I'm gonna get sent flying, right? So usually when it comes to moving back, you just want to walk back. You don't really want to do this, because it's a lot riskier to do this than to do this. At least you're blocking to do this, right? However, there is a use for doing this. There is use for this, because remember, it's important. The important part is that I said you're considered airborne when you backdash. So this trait about backdashing is important for two reasons. One is that while you're doing this, and you're considered airborne, you are immune to low attacks. So say for example, if you get hit by Marco, you get put in the blender, and he decides to do the lows instead of the overhead, right? If you happen to backdash the lows, you can actually be immune to it, and you can get a punish against it. And this is also effective against grabs.
Now I'm mad.
Why punish?
You there?
I'm so done with you.
Why punish?
So did they grab? Because I backdash. So basically, if you're playing against the opponent who loves to grab spam you on ranked, and a lot of players do, even the high rank, especially if you have SPG, because they don't want to deal with red blow, because grabbing beats red blow. This is kind of the ways you're gonna get out of it, right? In fact, there's the OS with it, but I'm not gonna show you guys the OS, because OSs are like cop outs and don't actually give you they don't actually give you the knowledge you need. But basically, you're finding somebody who's gonna grab you all day.
I'm so done with you.
Backdash. As far as the low factor,
Uh-oh, I'm so done with you.
you there? Didn't get hit.
Uh-oh, now I'm mad.
Got another hit. So as long as you read that your opponent is going to
so done with
do
you.
a grab or a low attack, you can backdash and get a crazy counter. Now, this is extremely good on B Jenny, and Mai can do this too, because one of the things B Jenny can do is this.
Here I go. Here I go.
You can actually do her air rekkas off the backdash.
Here I go.
Overheat.
Here I go. Here I go. Here I go. Here I go.
Overheat.
Mai can do it too. In fact, Mai's EX dive is +2 off that.
Here I
So
go.
she does it off this, off her die, right?
Here I go. Here I go.
Overheat.
Really, this is important because if you take what I just showed you and actually get a pretty good punish. This is something I've done in the higher ranks a lot. Yeah, so you definitely don't want to do a low or grab on Jenny and both characters. She can really blow up a grab if you try to grab her and she reads it with that. Be out of SPG.
I'm so done with you.
While backdashing is bad to do in neutral, it does deal with grabs and it does deal with low attacks. If you're fighting somebody who's going to do that to you all the time and you notice it, hit a quick backdash, and you can get a wild punish
Uh-oh. Yeah. Uh-oh.
if you read it right.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Very strong. While we're on the topic of the grabs, like I said earlier, hideouts and attacks deal with them too, so I'll just show that off real quick. Right there, see? If it's timed perfectly, you'll actually get a slow-mo with it. So, the universal overhead is going to be mainly used for when your opponent doesn't grab you, when your opponent doesn't low, or when your opponent mashes on ulti, right? Anytime you get a counter hit, they throw or they do a low attack, you're going to get a wild punish, and you'll be able to combo after. So, that's how you would use this stuff, guys. The next step is basically to play around your opponent's SPG bar. This is a big one. A lot of times people do combos not considering your opponent's SPG. Because let's be honest, we all hate red blows. We all hate when our opponent spams them. We know when people get SPG, they go brain dead with red blows, like we just said. Especially Hokusamaru, especially B. Jenny, especially Billy. Tizok kind of has to considering we have good defense at all. God bless Tizok main souls, right? But we hate this. We do not like SPG. I'm sure we're sick of it. So, with that being said, it's very important and crucial to try to understand how to play around SPG. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say you're fighting somebody who's in Excel ratio, right? And this also incorporates the rule where I said like cash out once you get the hit. Notice that the opposite Jenny is in Excel ratio. That means their SPG is already exposed. So what this usually means is that if you're fighting someone with Excel ratio, their game plan is to just go full-blown offense. They're going to rush you down. They're going to hit you. They want to keep their offense. They want to use Red Blood to get their turn back. They don't want to play the game. They're just full-blown offense. You'll see a lot of strong characters who are really good at rush down have Excel ratio. Let's say I'm fighting somebody who has Excel ratio SPG. My game plan is the moment I get that hit, I'm catching it. So I'm fighting somebody who has SPG Excel. My first priority is to make sure that that first combo takes away that SPG. I'll maybe do this, right? They're out of SPG.
So done with you.
I don't have to worry about their red blood anymore. If you see someone playing Excel and you get the hit and you have meter, that's not the time to be stingy. You do not want them to be an SPG at all. SPG gives your character a damage boost, gives them access to hitting gear so that they can reset their gauge, and it gives them access to rev flow. We do not want them to hit us harder. We do not want them to take away 70% of life because they have hitting gear. We do not want to deal with rev flow. So when you get that hit, take it away. Flux is a little bit of a different story.
SPG.
Flux is a little bit harder to take to get them out of SPG, right? And this is why you'll see most of the community plays, or the most picked ratio is Flux because it's the safest one, right? It's hard to take it away, right? So you're not just going to be able to take away Flux off of one hit. It's unless you're Kevin, Kai, Fox, or you have a really, if you have a character that can hit really hard, or you happen to get a wild punish in your biggest combo, you're more than likely not going to take it away. So how do we play against Flux ratio without having to worry about rev flow? Well, this might suck, but what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to end your combo preemptively, but try to end it preemptively as effectively as possible, right? What I mean by that? What is a good time to go into knockdowns, right? And hard knockdown to soft knockdown. So here's the thing with this game, right?
SPG.
Whenever you land a rev throw, a throw,
SPG.
an EX move, any EX move,
SPG.
or an ult of any variety, all four of those options are considered hard knockdowns in the game. Or even if you get a wild punish to knock them down, that's considered a hard knockdown in the game. Anything else is a soft knockdown. And those are important because what it means is if you do like just say a normal super move and it's not EX, you'll get a soft knockdown, and that means your opponent can roll, right? And if you guys play this game enough, you know what I mean by roll. When you knock someone down, they just roll away to safety, roll forward, roll back to different types of rolls. Tutorial will teach you that, right? But if you hit them with the EX move, a throw, a ult, or a rev blow, they can't roll at all. It's a hard knockdown. They have to get up in that position. They cannot roll, right? If I was playing against a flux ratio user, what I would do is something like this. But I wouldn't finish the combo, right? I'd probably just end the hard knockdown like that, or I might do something like this. And then end the combo right there, right? I would keep them in that range, or on that health, because the next time I hit them, I would make sure the next combo would rob them with their SPG and wouldn't get used at all, right? That's kind of how you play against Flux Ratio. I'll try to show an example of this. SPG!
Now I
SPG! And now this time it's pretty cold. And now they don't have it, right? And I get them set up, and then they're probably dead to right. So, if they're not playing Excel, and you're not just able to take them off their SPG immediately, then any other SPG that goes for Vital and Flux, you're gonna want to be a little more clever about it. Do your combos, but just finish them in a optimal way, but don't push them into SPG, if that makes sense. Basically, try to shorten your combo in a way that ends in a hard knockdown. So, and leave them barely outside of getting SPG, so that the next time you hit them, you can take them out of the SPG. Whenever SPG is on the field, or there's an opportunity for you to take SPG away, you need to take it away. You do not want to do this. SPG! Yeah, the combo got my damage, and I can go for my setup, but now they have SPG, I have to deal with Red Blow, a damage buff, and Jenny is a character who hits extremely hard. I don't want to deal with that. And she has the second best Red Blow in the game. You don't want to deal with that, it's nasty. Now, if you just happen to make a oopsie and put them in the SP anyway, then you're just gonna have to play around SPG, you have to play around Red Blow, you're gonna have to be a little more careful, get ready to bait it out. But generally, you don't want to deal with SPG. If you can avoid dealing with it, avoid it. If you can take them out of it, do it. Don't be stingy with that bar, take them out of SPG. If you need to spin a hidden gear to get them off of SPG, you better spin that hidden gear. You don't want to deal with SPG. Rev Blow sucks. We hate Rev Blow. So any opportunity you get to rob your opponent of Rev Blow, you better do it. If your strings have a gap, don't finish the string because they'll probably Rev Blow the gap. Grabs beat Red Blow, dodge attacks beat Red Blow, so you're gonna have to be a little more careful and use those moves more importantly to deal with Red Blow and get them off of it. You just have to fight the Red Blow, but generally you do not want to leave them on Red Blow. And since everybody plays Flux, you're probably gonna be playing that way more than not. Anytime I'm playing a Flux Ratio user, I'm going to generally shorten my combo in a hard knockdown and go for a safe jump. And I'll try to mix them in a way that I can get them off their SPG on the next hit. That's the gameplay you'll see from a lot of high and top level players. It's a very prone strategy, and it's something that's going to help you get out of lower ranks, right? Especially Hogan Tomorrow. I do not want him in SPG ever. Do not want him in SPG ever. A lot of them run Excel ratio, so it's pretty easy to take him out of it once I get the hit, but when he's in Flux, believe. Believe I'm doing the strategy showing I'm dropping the combo pretty surely, and the next time I hit him, he's gonna get out of it because I'm not dealing with Red Blow. And generally, once I take Hogan Tomorrow out of Red Blow, I have an easier time fighting him because a lot of the Hogan Tomorrows aren't really that good when they don't have Red Blow. There are good ones, you know, in the higher ranks, but most of them, the ones that get up there, that they're really just doing Red Blows and throwing stars and teleporting. So, you know, typical flowchart Hogan stuff, but that's how you would deal with it, and that's what I mean when I say play around SPG. A lot of low ranks don't think about that type of stuff, but it's a very important tactic amongst a lot of A's and S rank players and legendary wolf players. So keep that in mind. You have to watch your opponent's gauge, optimize your combos according to SPG, play around SPG, rob your opponent of SPG, do not let him have it. Especially if a character that hits hard. Now, someone like maybe Prisha might have a harder time doing that because she's one of the weaker hitters on the game. Might have hit super hard, but those two, even those two are very capable of taking your opponent out of SPG with a combo. So play around it. It's gonna get you to S rank. And the last step that I wanted to go over is to choose your SPG according to your character's strain. So, like I was saying earlier, I like to play B Jenny on Excel ratio. That's just my preferred playstyle for her. And the reason is because for me, or at least looking at the character herself, she has very strong offense. She excels at being a tricky offensive fighter. She does a lot of crossing up and a lot of damage when she gets a hit. Just like, for example,
PG.
like 56% off a hit. So yeah, her damage numbers are very high. Definitely not a weak character, right? Like that's like half of your flux SPG gauge in the middle if she hits you. So the reason I play her in Excel is because not only do they call me her high damage output and her offense, because she's got so many plus frames. Like that's +4. Her feint is +3 on block. This is +1 on block. But her red blow is, like I said, the second best in the game. It's a 13 framer. It comes out really quick. A lot of stuff being punished. So if I happen to get a JD off, I can do JD red blow. She's more than likely going to get a counter hit and be able to cash in incredibly hard. What if 3 up a counter hit?
I'm so done with you.
SPG.
And because her SVG, like her red blow is the second best of the game, and like I said, it's very good for JD red blowing. It gives her it actually gives her a very strong defensive tool when she has SVG. She's not actually vulnerable and kind of just gets mauled in the corner, or just gets mauled on the Oki by someone like Gato or Terry. No, if you're able to get a JD off and go to red blow, you can very easily get her turn back. Assuming you can actually JD very good, or just when you're holding a basic string from a character like that, you know, it's very easy for her to just red blow through a lot of stuff into her turn back and lead to a lot of damage off of it. That's why I play Excel. It just gives her access to her red blow and gives her a very strong defensive option off the rip. And if I do happen to lose my offense and I'm just not able to like establish what I want to do, you kind of get the idea. I just go offense, but like get the offense going. I got the damage to go for it. I can get into my setups easy. The damage bonus is nice, and having my JD red blow be one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game, and lead to counter hits because of how quick it is and just get my turn back, it can really lead to a landslide victory for Jenny quite easily, especially against aggressive opponents. It's quite funny because you're supposed to be the aggressor at Excel ratio, but when your opponent's being overly aggressive and you hit them with a JD red blow and get a counter hit, it's kind of it could be very tough to take her out of Excel SPG, and it can be very hard to keep any type of offense on her when the Jenny is really good at JD. But unfortunately, a lot of the Jenny players at the lower ranks and the mid ranks, they don't do that. They just red blow willy-nilly the moment they get pressure or red blow anything in sight, and then they just overheat really quick, and that's why a lot of them don't play Excel. But Excel Jenny is kind of very sleeper. I think is actually her most effective playstyle, you know, to be super offensive and JD red blow stuff. Like, you gotta be good at JD to make it work if you have to. And you have to be good at meter management because Excel will overheat you really quick because Excel ratio,
Come on! Come on!
you're using 25% every time you do an
Overheat.
EX move, and before you know it, you're overheated, and Jenny already has terrible defense. You don't want to overheat. You're going to get guard broke more often than not, and you have to rely on a counter that isn't even like frame 0 invincible or frame 0 startup, so
SPG.
I'm mindful of that. There are other characters who like to play Excel, like I think Terry is a very good one to be Excel because his damage is already super high. He has some of the highest, like top 3 damage of the game. He's got a DP, his rev blow is okay, but it's mainly Terry's damage, and because he's such an offensive and impressive character, Excel ratio is good for him. Ronaldo is also a really good one because his red blow is extremely good, especially in the air, and he can get a landslide on you if he gets the soccer ball Oki set up and he just deletes you. He hits really hard with 1 bar. He hits like in Janae territory of damage. So that's another character that's really good. Gato can make it work because, you know, I mean, everybody runs it because he hits really hard anyway, and he's gonna hit even harder and get that big like 80% combo going off light attacks. Vox hits for 80%, and Vox is pretty rush down heavy. So those are just a couple characters who would really excel at playing in Excel ratio, and that's why I prefer to play Excel ratio with Jenny despite the overheat. It's you definitely have to manage your meter, but it's just having access to the second best roll in the game, getting counter hits, and especially when you're fighting someone like Kine or a zoner heavy character like Hotaru that have a DP, when you jump, just having access to this, like just being able to do that when they zone or try to DP me, and get a counter hit and turn back and do the health is very strong. Like that could not be unfair. That's 50% because
done with you.
I got this counter hit.
SPG.
And of course, it might happen with the JD if they DP me and then go into that blow. That's also a counter hit.
SPG.
Or if they try to DP and I do this, that will also lead to a counter hit. So it's
SPG.
Excel ratio Jenny is quite strong, and a lot of Jennies tend to play the Flux one, which is okay. Just to play that plays a little bit different, but that's basically how you would play Excel. And like I said, mainly the offensive rush down characters who just want to get in, do damage, and end the match as soon as possible, just go on an onslaught. They're the ones who can play Excel. Okay, so Flux ratio is quite the opposite from playing Excel ratio. Excel, that's the one, like I said, you want to be very offensive and heavy. Just keep pressure. You want to put an onslaught on your opponent. You want to hit hard and make it hurt. Flux is not really like that. It's quite the opposite. Flux ratio is the one you want to play a bit slower with. You want to kind of play more control oriented. You want to slow the game down to you want to pace the game out. You want to feel stuff out. You want to play a little more reactive, a little more patient, not too aggressive, because you don't have access to your red blow immediately. Actually, I'm gonna put the health bar to 100 and show it off. Like right here, you're not gonna be able to have it. So if you're playing, which I have actually begun to pick up a Flux ratio B Jenny, I still prefer the Excel one, but I do play the Flux ratio one from time to time, especially in the higher ranks, because you start fighting a lot more top tiers who are more likely to get the hit on you first anyway and take on SPG. So Flux can be very strong up here, but with Flux, because you're not going to have access to the damage boost right away, you're not going to have access to the JD red blow. Basically how you play Flux is you kind of just play back, wait for your opponent to mess up, try to, you know, they jump, you DP, you kind of control the game with projectiles and react if they jump. It's basically the SPG for characters that want to play slow, characters that want to just camp you out with projectiles and anti-air with DPs, characters who are comfortable playing without SPG. So basically characters like, I believe Kine can do it. I mean, he doesn't need to because he has a very strong red blow, but Kine can basically play it. Hoku can play it just fine because he controls the game anyway. He's running from the all game. You have to chase him. He doesn't need to risk anything. B Jenny can actually play it. you just have to be comfortable not having your SPG available right away. You gotta be, I can tell you from experience, playing Flux Jenny is definitely different from playing Excel Jenny. You're not gonna be rushing down super heavy. I mean, you can, but whenever I play this, when I'm find myself playing a lot further back, I'm keeping space, trying to play neutral, baiting more with projectiles and trying to catch an anti-air so I can get a punish that way. But basically, you're gonna play a lot slower. You know, you play. You kind of got to try to control the pace of your opponent. I mean, you go in and do your offense, of course, but you're not just gonna be as aggressive in hitting as hard as you normally would. Like when I play this one, for example, I'm doing a lot more of the reset. Like this example.
How could you?
I don't like that more. You know, keep him at a distance. Like I'll be very like I'm not gonna rush you down too much if I'm playing Flux Jenny. It's not happening. But another reason you might want to play Flux over Excel is because when you're in Flux ratio, you actually use a lot less rev gauge than you would in Excel when you do EX move.
Come on.
Instead of 5, we're only taking 19.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Overheat.
I was able to do 6 EX moves this time.
SPG.
Red blow as well.
Now I'm mad.
You get 8 red blows
I'm
per
so
overheat.
done with you.
So it's really good for managing your meter as well. Like you can do a lot of the bigger combos more often without having to be at risk of overheating so much. In fact, there's
SPG.
there's a combo that BJN only has access to in Flux and Final Ratio, and it's actually her biggest combo, which I showed earlier, which is this one. And that only works in Flux and Final Ratio. If I do it in Cell Ratio, you go overheat for the combo. And it gives you 65%.
Now I'm mad.
That is a very hard hitting ult. If you happen to get a counter hit, it will give her 70 something in that range. It's a very hard hitting combo. And you only want to go for it when you have SPG Flux available, because if you happen to do that combo, you don't do the hitting gear, you're just going to overheat yourself. But it does hit really hard. It's quite worth the spin. If you have hitting gear available and you're in the corner, definitely go for the combo. In my opinion, it's not worth playing Flux just for that combo, because you're very rarely going to be able to that combo. And all my times of playing Flux Ratio Jenny, I've only hit that combo like maybe 5 times out of so many matches. You have to be in the corner, you're gonna have to do bars, you gotta still be an SPG, and you have to be below 18% rev gauge, which is not gonna be very common because a lot of times you're spinning your meter just trying to get in and establish a combo. So it's very, very good to put that combo off, but when you do it, it feels very good. But overall, it's not really worth it. Generally, you're gonna play Flux Ratio if you just wanna play a slower paced Jenny, not be super offensive. And when you get to the SPG portion, you can basically start your offense then. But until you get to the SPG portion, you're going to play slow, you're going to play campy, you're going to bait, multiple tiles, you're going to try to anti-air the jumps with this move here. Play them until you get SPG, and then once you get SPG, you can kind of just play Excel Ratio, B-Jenny, with a lot less drawback on the meter, which is basically a stronger version of Excel. You just have to wait for it. And me, I don't want to wait for it because, like I said, B-Jenny doesn't have DP. So if she gets hit in the corner like someone against Gato or Terry, it's very hard to get your turn back and get them off of you. You can JD punish, but nothing is going to be as effective as her having access to JD Red Blow. Like, that will stop the pressure immediately and give her a counter hit. That's literally super strong compared to her just doing JD and doing that, or doing that. A lot of times when you get a counter hit, you just get a knockoff and you knock them off, which is good, but I would much rather hit hard and go into my safe jump setups. But that's just me. But flux ratio Jenny is not sleep bad at all. Like, definitely play it. I definitely recommend it to be the second option if you're fine playing slow, which you should be. I really do think B Jenny, even though she's supposed to be like a tricky rushdown character, I really do find that in me playing her, like, it's been more effective just playing back, playing like the campy style, waiting for my opponent to make a move, punishing jumps, JD gaps, and blowing through them and getting my turn back. I find that rushing in super hard with B Jenny and trying to do the gimmicky stuff it is a lot less effective than playing the slow pace one, because a lot of people aren't expecting you'd have the knowledge of anti-air with this. A lot of players aren't expecting to fight a Jenny that JD red blows them and gets a punish, or just JD punches them in general. They're not really expecting to fight a Jenny that has the safe jump setup that just kill their DPs, wake up ults, and it breaks their red blow. Like with this, they're not really expected to do a setup like that. So I find that just playing the slow, patient playstyle with her is a lot more effective than just rushing down and trying to keep plus frames and overheating yourself, which can be the drawback of playing the Excel ratio. You definitely have to be very meter efficient, and even in Excel Gen you have to be very patient because like I said, JD Rebel is very strong with B Jenny with her Excel form. And if you just happen to play patient, play the camping style and Excel ratio, right, and you get the anti-airs and dodge attacks and punish gaps with the canceling, right, if you just get one JD Reblo counter hit with her and get a combo start, she can really just like roll the game. As long as you're baiting out DPs and playing like effective, she could really just steamroll the opponent. It's not a lot to really do. I mean, there's something, they can still play the game, but you really have to be on the back foot trying to get back because she hits really hard, like I said. You could make an argument because I said that her playing the slow down play style is a lot more effective, gets more results, at least for me playing rank to get the S rank than it was when I was playing heavy rush down with her. You could make the argument that Flux is a lot better than, but the only difference I say with Excel is that the advantage I say Excel has over the Flux ratio, Jenny, is that I'm still playing the same playstyle, but I have immediate access to JD Reblo. And that's what makes a difference. To me, that's what I think is better. I could play Flux, but not having immediate access to the Reblo whenever I JD my opponent it makes a big difference. It's such a big difference. And not having access to the damage buff after I JD Reblo, it sucks. And because B Jenny already hit super hard, you don't really need to be super aggressive. But you don't need, she hits hard without SVG, and she just hits really hard with it. So I hope that clears it up. Why I think like the Excel one, or why I prefer the Excel B Jenny over Flux ratio. But Flux ratio definitely second in my opinion, definitely runner up. I do think people are sleeping on their Excel variation though. And final, because final is basically the same as Flux ratio, it's just you're using your meter regresses even less. Like you're using a lot less rev gauge in final than you would for Flux. Final is going to be your best friend when it comes to saving meter. Like you should very rarely overheat in final. You'll be using like very little rev gauge per combo for red blow. When you do your normal combos, you'll save a lot less meter than you would on Flux and Excel. Excel does not save you meter at all, which is a worthy cost because you're starting off very strong and overpowered, so it shouldn't give any reduction. But yeah, characters, again, I guess it's the characters that excel in Flux ratio, I think, or characters who can play Flux. I think Mai is really good. Mai has a very hit-and-run play style. She can control hit, she can run very easily. She can flip around the map very easily, be annoying. Kind can play Excel. He's gonna zone you full screen anyway. He never needs to approach. He can afford to play. Flux. Hotaru can play Flux because her fireball is a great. She can get whenever she wants. Hoku can play Flux. He can farm from you all game. So basically, characters can really control how you play the game. Basically, have priority over the match, so they can play Flux very easily. And Final is just to the extreme, I suppose. The only characters I see playing Final are like Tizok. I mean, I guess I understand it because he kind of needs some type of last resort, but I really don't think there's a reason to play Final. I really don't. Final, in my opinion, is kind of like the worst one. I think it needs a buff because like, I think if you're gonna play Final, it needs to be the meter saving SVG. I think you don't need to be overheating at all. I think you save so much meter that you can go crazy. Like the combo I just do with Jenny that takes the whole gauge with hitting gear. I think you would do like 3 of those, bro. Like you need to not be overheating your Final. Like you need to be borderline invincible. You need to be Super Saiyan God Goku if you get put in Final SVG, because having 30% HP, you're barely gonna usually get touched, so you may as well just be God mode, you know what I mean? Like they definitely got to buff it to incentivize people playing Final SVG, but I don't see a point in it. But yeah, that sums up this portion.
SPG!
And that concludes the guide video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please take everything I said to heart. This is just, from my experience, these tactics and tricks have served me well. I came to this game, came around 15. I started literally learning this game from the ground up. I did not come in here very sweaty. I spent a lot of time labbing, finding other people, picking up strategies and learning a lot of stuff, watching videos, trying to improve myself. I started from rookie rank, and the knowledge I learned coming to the game before I hit rank was actually very good. I actually have all the videos of my rank grind starting from rookie all the way up to S rank and how I got there, the matches I had. I streamed it, a lot of them, so people were able to watch me learn and improve as we went to get to this point. The last thing I'll do in the video is actually just go over the ranks and tell you guys what you can expect in each rank so as you continue your grind. So as you can see, you can look at my record again. This is when I started the game all the way to now. Again, like I said, I'm an S5 with 3,804 points. My best win streak was 13 win streak, and that was actually in A rank on my way to S rank, with 273 wins and 160 losses. Now, from rookie rank up to C rank, I can tell you for a fact that the way players play there is they play their habits are that they jump a lot. They will DP at everything the moment they hit the ground, or they will mash on wake up the moment they hit the ground. People very rarely block when they're in lower ranks. Like newcomer rank all the way up to C rank, people do not block. And if they do block, they're rev guarding or they're trying to mash. People do not want to hold any type of defense or any type of offense when it comes to being in lower ranks. They always try to jump the moment they get a chance. They will try to wake up ult the moment they get a chance. People do not short hop down there. So for you to survive the unranks and the newcomer ranks all the way through C ranks, you're gonna wanna, like I said, safe jumps are going to be your friend. It's the #1 tip for a reason, because safe jumps will carry you. If you learn how to safe jump with your character, you will go from getting crushed in the lower ranks to having like possibly an 18 win streak, I promise you. Because nobody blocks and everybody DP that does ults down there. Everybody does. And because most safe jumps are plus on Oki, like, I mean, when you complete the safe jump sequence with your character or whatever the sequence is for what character you play, it's generally your turn to press a button again. So if they mash, they're getting counter hit like crazy down there. And if you do safe jump and you go, oh, you can block it, safe jump's gonna be your friend. And like I said, because they jump a lot, learning to anti-air is going to be your friend in the lower ranks, especially if you know how to cash in and convert those anti-airs of like 30 to 40%. You're gonna be swimming in ranked point gold, you're gonna get those win streaks. You're gonna get the multiplier for having a win streak. The points are gonna skyrocket. You'll be out in lower ranks before you know it, and sooner or later you're gonna be in the B ranks. Now B ranks are more or less the same. People just play a bit more calculated. Like they still jump a lot, I'm not gonna lie. B rank is just like C ranks are below with some spice. People in the B ranks play more with a game plan in mind. But if you safe jump them, if you anti-air them, it'll still boil down to that. Like they'll have a game plan in mind. They may know a combo or two, not fully fleshed out, but if you get them on the ground or if they're on defense, they're basically going to default to what a low rank does. They're going to press, they're going to barely block, they're going to throw out an ult eventually. It's going to come how it's going to happen. They just play a little more polished. So basically just take everything I said about how to survive the low rank to how you're going to get the win points and just put it in gear for the B ranks as well, just with a little more fluidity. Like you're going to have your anti-airs on point. They get a little sharper doing that. Enforce your safe jumps a little bit more. Now, I will tell you this, the B ranks will definitely start to, they can adapt just a little bit, so you're gonna have to adjust your game plan accordingly. You're gonna have to read your opponent, feel out your opponent, and see how they respond to what you do. Because you may have to switch up your tactics and change up how you approach. You know, you might not just be able to just flowchart, safe jump, and flowchart bait the DP, and flowchart anti-air and be up in that, be swimming in the gold. But B ranks overall tend to be just more comfortable having offense. Like I said, their defense isn't there yet, so you can really short hop, mix them, and just catch them off guard. If you find a setup that they can't do, like for example, if you just happen to be playing B Jenny, you know how to do her projectile Oki, where they get up and they have to hold it. That's probably gonna kill them because they don't block either. B ranks don't block, they hardly block. And I've noticed that B ranks love to throw, so just short hopping and back dashing, getting the wild punch off that will kill them a lot. So they play more fluid, but they're not fully fleshed out. Now, A ranks is when it gets real. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. A ranks is when you fight the people who, this is when they start short hopping themselves. This is when they start doing safe jumps themselves. This is when they start getting really good at anti-airing. So if you make it to A ranks, the thing you're gonna have to know is you're gonna have to get really good at JDing, because people are gonna start doing real plus strings. They're gonna start adapting to you. They're gonna start staggering. They're gonna start doing a lot of strike throws. They're gonna hit you with safe jumps. If you try to wake up DP, wake up ult, you'll probably get safe jump. They will blow you up. A ranks is when they know how to play. To survive up here, your anti-air games have to be on point. Like if they jump, you cannot miss. You have to have your anti-air game on point. You have to have a response ready. Reactions need to be really good. Have your safe jumps still ready. The only thing with safe jumps is you can't use them as often because A ranks will adapt and realize that you're safe jumping. So what they may do is they may, in response, they may wake up DP break, because DP break is a really strong response to safe jumping, because if you press, you'll get DP'd, but if you don't press, they're safe on block, so it's a really good way to answer safe jumping. As they notice you're safe jumping, they may not even challenge it. They might just try to JD and DP or JD red blow you instead, or JD zero frame ult you. Basically, in A ranks, your game plan needs to already be in effect. You need to be able to adapt to your opponent, because your opponent will try to adapt to you. If you're getting pressured, especially as a Jenny player, you need to have your JDs on points. A lot of people, when they're fighting Jenny in A rank, they will run from her. They will try to zone her. Like if you're fighting Hoku tomorrow, a Hotaro or Andy, they will play back. They will not chase you. They do not want you to get your plus frames or your games established or your offense going. They're going to try to zone you. So in order to get in on that, you're going to have to jump a lot. And like I said, they anti-air like crazy up there. Like I fight Terry's, they do EX power guys. I got to jump over it. They respond with a DP, and I have to have my air JD ready and the red blow to respond after I JD to get the counter hit and get going. Like, you need to be fluid up there. Like, JD need to be good. Safe jumps need to be on point. You need to win the safe jump, mix up your setups. Short hops need to be on lock. And you need to make every hit count. You have got to make your hit hurt. When you get that anti-air, you get the combo going, end it in a hard knockdown or end it in an ult. there is very little reason that you ever want to do a soft knockdown in a high ranks. You do a soft knockdown in a high ranks, you're gonna make it very difficult to win. Trust me, never, ever do a soft knockdown if you can. Always try, if you can help it, always try to do a hard knockdown up here, because people in air ranks, they roll like crazy. When they roll, they have opportunity to wake up ult, they have opportunity to do a P, so even if you try to read the roll and you try to catch it, they can DP it anyway. So there's a lot more layers to being in the A rank. I understand that like even in the lower ranks, some people may roll a lot, they know how to roll, but try to kill that habit a little bit in the A ranks, because A ranks are gonna bait the roll. Like you may get put in the corner, you try to roll forward, they're gonna backdash, and if you aren't blocking, you will get counter hit and punished. I fight people who roll a lot, especially Billies. They tend to mash and I get a counter hit off them anyway. So there's a lot more layers to being in the A rank, and it's just gonna be uphill from there, I promise you. It's more people up here. If you haven't been hit by an 80% or a 70% hitting gear combo, A ranks is gonna be it. A ranks was the first time I've actually been consistently hit with hitting gear combos. Like I've had multiple Terrys hit me with a 70% hitting gear combo. I've been deleted by Gatos up here. I've been deleted by boxes up here. It's rough up in the A ranks. Like trust me, everything I taught you need to take it to heart. You need to have some type of mastery of it in some way to survive A ranks. S ranks is basically A ranks on steroids, guys. It doesn't get any either when you hit A ranks. A ranks is when the real deal happens. What I hope for with this guide is that you guys are at least able to get out of the rookie ranks or the C ranks if you're stuck there, and at least make it to the B ranks, possibly A ranks. Because I think with this guide, you should at least see yourself in A ranks, at least A5. You should at least get out of B ranks, as long as you apply everything I taught you and just run the drills consistently and stay at it, and eventually you will get there. S rank was just something I decided to give because I knew I was capable of doing it, because even as C rank, I was able to beat A rank players. So I felt like if I just kept putting more time and improving, I could get to S rank. But even with the skill level that I had at the time, in order for me to even reach A, or in order for me to survive in A rank and even reach S rank, I had to take multiple days to just sit in the lab, practice Janae, practice against other characters or strings, learn how to JD, learn how to alchemy punish stuff, learn how to anti-air, increase my reaction time. I had to fight multiple sets with S rank players or people who are better than me and just keep fighting themselves to close the gap. And then eventually I was able to hold a 13 win streak in A rank and eventually achieve S rank. So with that out of the way, guys, that's the guide video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you guys will take everything I said to heart. Again, the point of this video was to teach you guys how to survive in rank and how to improve in rank. So not tournament, not optimal, because I know there are people who say I didn't teach you this and teach you that. Listen, we don't care about that. You're a rank player, you want to get good at rank, you want to get your rank improved, this is the guide on how to get it, because a lot of people tell you stuff, but it's not really stuff that helps you in rank. This is the guide to rank. This is the experience I had going from 0 all the way here, guys. So trust me, I know what I'm doing. The habits of players and the stuff I've experienced, I wouldn't tell you to do these things if it didn't work. But you gotta practice and leave it up to you guys. But either way, you know, more Fatal Fury content in the future. I stream on Twitch and upload videos on YouTube. My name is Unaway Improvements on Reddit because I didn't change my name and I can't change it now. So that's me. Yeah, we did a profile picture. Constantly posting Reddit all the time. I tend to reply to people who ask for help. That's me. I'm active on Twitter and I have a Discord. I do a lot of private labbing sessions in Discord that only Discord members are able to see. So if you're actually wanting to see me lab in real time or wanted to spar when I'm not streaming, then you would join the Discord server. You just add my Discord and I'll send you an invite. But I love you guys. I will catch you next time I upload. Again, I hope it's beneficial. And I hope to see you guys progressing ranked. Peace out.